You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good to have you on with us this morning. A couple of headlines I want to talk to you about. One of them was really, I think you'll find fascinating. Didn't surprise me, but you might find it fascinating nonetheless. I want to put this coronavirus into perspective again, but the headline is very much connected to that. Listen to this, and I'm going to bring this together for you for a minute here. Vitamin D, and you guys know me about vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency. If you're deficient in vitamin D, you are 3 times more at risk to get pneumonia than the rest of the population. Here's the headline. 3 times more likely to get pneumonia. Isn't that incredible? Now, what's that got to do with anything? Well, it has everything to do with what we're talking about in the last month or so. I'm getting so sick of the coronavirus. Coronavirus. I mean, guys, it's the flu bug. Let me put this into perspective again. This is yesterday's statistics on average in the United States, okay? I pulled this out this morning because I want to drive myself crazy. So this is a good way to drive myself crazy. I look up statistics from the CDC. Okay, here's yesterday. Yesterday in the United States, on average, in the winter months, okay? 80,000 people yesterday got the flu in the United States yesterday. On average, 80,000, and 170 of those, out of 80,000, 170 died. You gotta put this thing into perspective, guys. I know the 24-hour news cycle, what do they call it? The biomedia terror. Like, it's craziness. This isn't worse than SARS or MERS or the swine flu or anything. It's the flu. Now, it's maybe a variation of the flu, but it nonetheless is the flu. But listen to what that headline said. The headline said, if you're deficient in vitamin D, you are 3 times more likely to get pneumonia. Now, guys, when you die from the flu, are people that their immune system is compromised right out of the gate. And those are the people that die because they have no immune system. But if your levels of vitamin D are good, your risk of getting you might even get the flu. You know, I was telling you last week about the 14 Americans that were quarantined on a Japanese ship because of the coronavirus. Every one of those Americans had the coronavirus. But none of them got sick. None of them had any symptoms. See, they're making such a thing. I'm telling you, if this keeps up, they're going to collapse the world economy. Nobody's going to travel. There'll be no more tourism. They were talking yesterday. I read an article yesterday. They're telling the NBA it's the March Madness, which is a big basketball tournament. They're telling people stay home, don't go to stadiums, and the players can play the game, but in empty stadiums. Guys, are you kidding me? This isn't the bubonic plague. It's the flu bug. It's the coronavirus is a flu bug. Yeah, maybe a little variation, but every year there's a variation. Why do you think generally the flu shots rarely ever work? You know, I know Donald Trump, he talked yesterday about getting all the best scientists in the world together and then putting them in a room and let's develop a vaccine for the coronavirus. They don't work because viruses mutate. Viruses by nature will change. That's why the flu shot, every year, they try and guess what the strain will be. They guess in the summer to make it up. And, they pat themselves on the back if they get 40% results. Like, if I ever got 40% in school, I was never good in math, guys. Never. I always tell my grandchildren I'd be still in high school if I had to pass math. I wasn't any good in math. But 40% ain't good. Isn't that 60% failure rate? Well, what kind of a vaccine is that? What about vitamin D as being the flu shot? How about the vitamin D being the flu shot? It decreases your risk. Unbelievable how vitamin D acts in your body. So guys, this is what I know I'm preaching to the choir here this morning. But put this thing into perspective. I had somebody on Facebook yesterday, the coronavirus, you could hear her screaming. It's so scary. No, it's not. They're scaring the living life out of you. And guys, I don't want you to come after me, okay? Don't come after me and say, Dr. Martin, he's not taking this thing seriously. Look, I'm just putting it into perspective for you. The clear and present danger is not the coronavirus. The clear and present danger isn't the environment or the climate. The present danger is food. It's your immune system. It's the sun. If you can't get out in the sun, then take vitamin D. You know me. I'm very big on what does Dr. Martin take? 8,000 IUs every day. And especially in the dark winter months. Why do you think the flu is in the winter? Why isn't, you're not going to have to worry about the coronavirus in the summer. You won't. I'm telling you, it'll be off the news cycles by then. You won't even be talking about it. I read yesterday that people in the United States have stopped drinking the Corona beer because they think it's bad for them. No, but seriously, isn't this craziness? Anyway, okay, look, I don't want to be too stupid about this, but, you just, like I said, what did they say yesterday? 80,000 people yesterday had the flu in the United States. It's always, guys, whenever you hear American statistics, in Canada, it's 10 times less. We have 10 times less population than the United States. So just anything that happens in the U.S., 10 times less for us in Canada. So 80,000, 10 times less in Canada. So 80,000 people in the USA yesterday, according to the CDC, on average, got the flu yesterday. And 170 people on average in the winter months die of the flu in the United States. Well, gee, that's a lot more than the coronavirus is killing. They had a big news conference here in Florida yesterday because they got 2 cases of coronavirus yesterday in Florida. Well, Florida's got 21 million people? And everybody's putting a mask on. The mask does nothing. It does nothing. I think it makes it worse. So, wash your hands. I agree with that 1,000,000%. But guys, like I emphasize every time, it's the host. It's your host. It's you. It's the soil. It's you. It's inside your body. That's where your immune system is. And this is why I talked to you about, let me, I think there was an article yesterday. Oh yes, let me just talk to you about this article. And I'll come back to the immune system in a second, but there was a new study on probiotics yesterday, okay? Again, probiotics. But listen to this study. If you don't think Dr. Martin's crazy, no, but you guys know me. How many years have I been talking about this? Vitamin D, probiotics, vitamin P. You know the Martin Clinic alphabet? What's vitamin S? Steak. What's vitamin C? Coffee, right? So listen what it says. This is a new study on probiotics yesterday. A new study shows that probiotics drastically reduce the symptoms of depression. That's a new study that came out yesterday. Why is that? 80% of your feel-good hormones, your serotonin and your dopamine, they get made in your gut, not in your brain, in your gut. And we talked about that in previous podcasts and that about you remember when I did the teaching on the vagus nerve and how the vagus nerve is the connection between your brain and your gut? And that connection, by the way, 80% of the time goes from the gut to the brain, not the brain to the gut. Depression. We see so much of it today. Leaky gut. And remember about the gut. Remember this. I want to bring probiotics now into this immune system thing. Okay? Vitamin D, we know what it does for the immune system. Every cell in your body has a receptor to vitamin D. Every cell. Your body is made for the sun. The sun is not the boogeyman. Okay? I love my Florida neighbors down here. I do. I love them dearly. They never go in the sun. They're scared of it. They sit in the shade all the time because they're scared of this. My generation is terrible. We believed everything. Tony Jr. wrote an email this morning on salt, and how the cardiologist got everything wrong. Everything they ever talked about was wrong. Salt, cholesterol. Salt doesn't give you high blood pressure. Sugar does. Anyway, guys, when it comes to the immune system, probiotics, what do probiotics have to do? We know what it does for depression. But guys, there's two things in your gut. There's bacteria and there's the lining of your gut. The lining of your gut is a little wee skinny, thin layer, one cell thick, called your endothelial cells. But your good bacteria are the ones that protect your endothelial cells. Why is that important? Because just in behind the gut lining is your immune system. It's a little wee curtain there. It's very thin. And right behind that's your immune system. Your immune system, guys, start in the gut. If you have more good bacteria than bad, it's called you win. You win. Okay, so this is why I come back to that all the time. Come back to it because it's essential, guys. It's essential for your immune system. Vitamin D, probiotics. Vitamin D, probiotics. Yeah, because we always thought, like you go back 40 years ago, probiotics, like only the farmers use probiotics in their feed. We weren't smart enough to know their significance. Because in the 1970s, I'm writing a book right now, and I'm talking about in the 1970s, there's something that we were taught in school that was brand new, and that was what we call free radical damage, okay? Oxidative damage. And that is damage, and cancer and oxidative damage and rusting out of your cells. And, what we knew is in those days that smoking, if you were smoking, that really created a lot of oxidative damage, okay? But we didn't know. We didn't know about bacteria like we know today, like the war between the good and bad bacteria in your body, guys. And this is why that war, you got to win that war inside your gut. And that is why I'm a big guy, probiotics, and a broad spectrum probiotic. Because it's your immune system. Matter of fact, okay, not only to fight infection, but every autoimmune disease. Listen to what I'm going to say. Every immune disease, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, celiac. You know what they were saying yesterday? This study came out yesterday. I have it on my phone about celiac. That if you are celiac, you have celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease, your chances of getting Alzheimer's and dementia are gone up way. Why is that? The connection between the gut and the brain. So there's the immune system in the gut, okay? And by the way, you gotta have enough friendly bacteria to even absorb vitamin D. So again, the sun, vitamin D. You need vitamin D. You live in Northern Ontario, you don't get enough sun. You got dark skin, you need to take vitamin D all year round. Because your pigment won't even allow the amount of vitamin D that I get from the sun. Your pigment won't allow it. But the immune system is twofold. One of them is the levels of your vitamin D well established, and secondly, the microbiome, your gut has to have enough friendly bacteria for your immune system to work. And the autoimmune, like I said, celiac, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, MS, it's autoimmune. Autism is autoimmune. It's a lack of friendly bacteria in the gut. And it doesn't kill you right away. It comes out later. It takes a long time for these disorders to manifest themselves. Guys, and like I said, I appreciate you because you listen. Listen, Linda, you listen. And that's, this is because, guys, when it comes to the coronavirus, it's you, whoever you can have an influence on, okay? This is why I want to do coaching and establish health coaches and wellness coaches. Why? Because, what is your circle of influence? It might be just your family. Well, get all the information, right? You don't have to do a million things. Dr. Martin has never been complicated. I'm a simple guy. I had a lady yesterday came to me at the pool here, and I gave her one of my books, okay? And I think it's her daughter. I can't remember if it's her daughter or son. Is an oncologist. Well, I said, look, she said, but Doc, I appreciate it. When I read your book, you come right to the point. Yeah? I get right to the point. Because I'm a simple guy. I'm not a complicated, to me, simplified medicine, they make it so stinking complicated, right? They don't want you to know. I had somebody online the other day telling me my doctor got insulted because I asked him some questions. Plus, I said, I want my C-reactive protein done and my vitamin D levels done. And I want those blood tests done. And the doctor said, why? That's too much information. You don't need that information. I'm telling you, that's an answer. That's not acceptable anymore. My generation accepted that from doctors. They never asked questions. My generation, okay? We doctors don't ask questions. Not you guys, though. Ask questions. I tell you, there's a little part in the Bible. I always tell you about this because the Apostle Paul was preaching from the Bible, and he said the Bereans were than those at Thessalonica. Why? Because they didn't take my word for it. He said they went into the Bible themselves and read the Bible to see if what Paul was saying was true. I like that. I love what you guys do. Don't just take my word for it. Look at these things. Study these things. I mean it. And you guys are great. I love that. Okay. And Linda's going, I got skin cancer 4 times from Times. I imagine from the sun. Well, Linda, yeah, look it. You can get skin cancer from the sun. I agree with that. But you know who gets skin cancer from the sun? Don't beat me up, okay? Because I'm just going to give you some statistics that will will bother you to some extent, or at least they should. People that, okay, there's a couple of different types of skin cancer, right? Melanoma and basal cell carcinoma, or squamous cell carcinoma. You don't die from basal cell carcinoma. It's a skin cancer, yes. The ones that are very deadly is the melanoma, because it goes in. It starts on the skin and goes in, but that's what they say. But to me, and here's why I'm going to tell you what my theory is, and I think I'm right. When you get a deadly skin cancer, you know what they've proven? This is just a fact. They're very low in vitamin D. It's people that work indoors that get the deadly skin cancer, Linda. If you get a cell cancer or a basal cell carcinoma, those are superficial cancers. They're not systemic. They don't go everywhere. They're a local skin cancer. And I'm not telling you to burn in the sun. Guys, look, I got my hat on. I want to cover my ears up and this and that. Okay, I love the sun, guys. How do you like this one? Okay, so all I'm saying is, I'm not telling you not to cover up. Like, get some sun. In 20 minutes, you get 10,000 IUs. You know? But you got to let it come in on your arms, and you got to let it come in on your legs. So this is what I'm saying. The deadly cancers are people that have low levels of vitamin D. Okay? They have low levels of vitamin D. And the people that have good levels of vitamin D don't get any skin cancer. It's almost invariable. Isn't that incredible? Okay? So, what about sunscreen? Oh, I can get into trouble when I do this, okay? Ooh, I hate sunscreen. What? I've shown you these statistics in the past. Sunscreen goes right into your bloodstream. It's all chemicals. I remember my high school chemistry class. I was dangerous in the lab. You know why? Because I was always fooling around in high school. Okay? I was a joker. I loved to fool around, and I go, let's put this in, let's put that in, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Well, it didn't do much until you put the heat to it. You put the Bunsen burner to it. I remember one time I almost exploded the whole lab. You put heat, you put sunscreen on, and then you put the heat to it. I don't like it. Well, I wear a white hat just because I want to be... farmers don't die of melanoma. They do not die of melanoma. No, they don't. It's people that work indoors. Melanoma is like... melanoma today is like an epidemic. Okay? And the problem is... The problem with melanoma is not enough sun. They don't get in the sun. That is a fact. That is a fact. And so, look, I'm not telling you to burn in the sun. So don't say Dr. Martin never told you to go burn in the sun. I'm not telling you to do that. But you better get your vitamin D levels up. Okay, so guys, thanks for watching today. Share this with your friends. You have any questions? Send them on. I'm gonna be doing some more teaching all week. So love you guys. Talk to you soon.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.